Welcome to Fort Worth 148's podcast, where we meet to discuss Masonic topics and strive to build value in the Brotherhood. The opinions and statements of the participants do not represent any positions or stance of any Grand Lodge or Lodge and are solely the viewpoints of the participants. Welcome back to the podcast, brothers. This is Rhit Moore, past master of Fort Worth 148, and today I've got the special guest. I've got Ruben Bazan of the party Cartel.
That's right. Hollering from Laredo, Texas. How you doing, Rhit?
Good, man. I'm cooking a little bit. How are things in Laredo?
Things are great. I'll introduce myself. For those who don't know me, my name is Ruben Bazan. I am the senior warden for Laredo Lodge number 547. That's
new too. That just happened, didn't it?
That just happened. About a couple of weeks ago, or a month ago or so. But yeah, it's been awesome. It's been fun. And at our first stated meeting, we had to coordinate a master's degree, so that was fun.
Yep. It is fun. Well, congratulations on that.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
And so how long have you been a Mason now?
I've been a Mason since 11 years.
That's right. Yeah, because I remember last podcast we did, it was like, wait, and you haven't been an officer? We went through that whole gambit, but you finally got drawn in.
Yeah, it was one of those things where like they looked around and said, well, who hasn't been junior deacon? You know, just throw this guy in there.
Oh yeah, like that's any different story anyway. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, we're out of the begging stage really now to where it is, you know, if you're active, you'll be a lodge member. But I remember the days where it's like, come on, please be steward.
Yeah. I've been steward. You know, funnily enough, it was a chair that I really enjoyed.
Oh God, me too.
I like hosting.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess, you know, being steward is one of those responsibilities where you ought to make people feel welcome and well fed and everything. And I guess it's just like the Mexican side of me that just kind of got channeled through the steward position.
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody thinks it's just some mundane task in the kitchen, but you're right. There's more to it about making people feel welcome and providing a good meal is key. Well, I enjoyed it. I was unofficial steward for many years for my lodge, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Unofficial?
Yeah, I did it for 1 year, you know, and burnt the spaghetti the first meal, but I learned it.
You can't make an omelet without breaking some eggs, right?
There it is.
Yeah.
A little pain. So we had, because it's been a minute since I've done a podcast, but one of the last ones I did was with the boys that brought down the George Washington gavel and trowel.
And the trowel.
Yeah, to the Laredo and the George Washington parade and all that. And we said we were going to do a podcast about it, but here we are, 5 months later?
I guess life really did get in the way there.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, a lot happened since then. So we're finally doing it. But before that, I want to just give a shout out about the new law book. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but I downloaded off the
app.
New app. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yes. Got
the new law book, and it has the Grand Master's decisions right there with every law that pertains to it.
Can't miss it.
Oh man, hats off to the trustees and Grand Secretary and their staff. I know that was an undertaking.
Yeah, and they do a great job at keeping everything updated, and hats off to them.
Best $9.99 I ever spent. Which they even had. They had plans.
You got the ABIF plan?
So being on the Grand Lodge Education Committee might have its perks, you know, so I may or may not have had most of that. But it you know, stuff you kind of got to have in the.
And here you see me paying for the King of Solomon,
which it's worth every penny. I'll tell you
absolutely.
Right now, those Grand Lodge proceedings are so much fun just to read through. When I was preparing for
being orator, I read through probably 70 old speeches in those. So it's well worth the money.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. So much good stuff in there. But let's chat about the George Washington Parade. How did you guys get involved in that in the first place as a lodge?
Well, funnily enough, this year was the first time we did it. We had always wanted, for a while now, we had always wanted to participate in a lodge capacity or a Masonic capacity in the George Washington festivities that take place every February here. And we just never got around to it. I guess people weren't, or either they weren't too excited. I was absent from the lodge for about 3 years. So, maybe I would have been master already.
Yeah. Oh, you would have been.
Yeah. But, it was one of those things where a lot of things just kind of fell into place. Our junior past master, he wanted to get involved as well. And he had he had a great approach to what Masonry should look like in Laredo. And it's something that I believe is going to transcend with the current worshipful master, with myself and our junior warden and the deacons. They all kind of have the same idea. So I'm excited about the future for Laredo Lodge. And, this is one of those things where with the George Washington birthday celebration, we said, let's jump on this chance because, it only comes once a year. And every year that goes by that we don't do it is a loss pretty much because it's a lost opportunity. So a lot of things kind of fell into place. We were able to get in touch with the Potomac Lodge number 5 in Georgetown and Alexandria Washington Lodge 22 over there in Alexandria, Virginia, and they were able to bring down those artifacts, and we said, okay, well let's make it a big deal. Yeah. It was probably it's the busiest I've ever been in a Masonic capacity. That week was brutal. I think I slept a whole 12 hours. But you know what? I would so do it again, man. It was unbelievable. So we were able to get those 2 artifacts down here, and at the same time we said, well, let's hit up the parade organizer, see what we have to do in order to, be a part of the procession. And that was pretty simple. I think it was like $40 or something to register to be a parade participant. Somebody still owes me those $40. I'm not going to say who, but I will be holding them accountable.
Oh man, that's almost worth not getting paid back for just to have that.
Of course, I'm just joking. But yeah, we said, okay, well, Al-Zafar Shrine out of San Antonio, they participate in the parade every year, and they are usually the largest participant in the parade. They average about 150 to 170 participants every year. Mm-hmm. And the Al-Zafar Shrine is the longest. It occupies about 2 blocks between the old school fire truck.
We were right behind them, right?
No, we were right in front of them.
Okay, I knew we were behind them.
Yeah. So they have the hillbilly unit, and then the shotgun unit, and the mini wheels, and the clowns, and it's never ending. You see the Shriners coming up, and you're like, okay, this is going to take a while. And they like to put on a show and everything. So we said, why not participate in the parade with the Grand Lodge of Texas? The Grand Lodge of Texas was actually the one who signed up for the parade, not Laredo Lodge 547.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so Laredo Lodge just kind of piggybacked on the Grand Lodge. Of course.
So another 40.
Yeah, absolutely, in a heartbeat. And so we said, okay, let's get in front of Al-Zafar Shrine so they can see, so the crowd can see Freemasonry up front, and then they can. We were hoping that they would tie the Shrine-dom with Freemasonry.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people know that you have to be one in order to become another. Mm-hmm. So we thought that was a good idea, and it worked. And it was funny because you were there. So a bunch of us with the Grand Lodge procession, everybody's wearing suits and everybody's real fancy. And then you got Al-Zafar Shrine and they're throwing the party back there.
Yeah. Gosh, so much fun.
But I mean, if y'all saw the parade or the videos or anything, you'll see our brothers Carlton Newberry and Kevin Klingon just tearing it up, man, with the crowd in Laredo. Everybody loved them.
I don't know how they did it. I was getting tired watching them.
Yeah, I was right behind them, and I said, "Man, I don't know how they're doing it." And anyway, it had been a long night the night before, and it was really early in the morning. That's when you know you love masonry, when you're able to do that. Yeah. So I appreciate everybody who came down and had fun. And again, it's probably the country's and the world's largest celebration of George Washington's birthday. Why it takes place in Laredo is a little beyond me, but you know what? I'm not going to complain. I love a month-long party. Who doesn't? Yeah. And and
I think that's the specialty down there. Like when we got on and you were like, well, it was a long night. We had a birthday party for a kid and it turned into a big party. Yeah. I think that's kind of what happened here, you know, you know, Laredo's a little bit isolated from, you know, so it's a little bit of drive to San Antonio. So
it's, I mean,
a party's a party.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we will drive the distance for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's only 150 miles from Laredo to San Antonio, but for those who don't know, Laredo is on the border. It's where I-35 begins and where good tacos end.
That's the truth. There's some good tacos.
Yeah, there are some good tacos down here. So yeah, we are a little bit isolated. I mean, we're a population of about 265,000 or so. We only have the one lodge. Nuevo Laredo, across the bridge, has 7 recognized lodges from the Grand Lodge of Texas. So they're pretty active, and Nuevo Laredo is about 3 times as big as Laredo, Texas. Oh, wow. So you'd think they would only have 2 more lodges, given the if you're doing the ratio with the population to lodge, but no, they have 7. They're really, really active down there in Nuevo Laredo. To, you know, my tip of the hat to them, because I was hanging out with a few of them last night, and just they do things a little differently, right? But you know, their degrees are a little different and such. But you know, they have the same attitude. They're great guys, and what we're trying to do here is kind of establish much more amity with them. And we've been doing it. You know, that they invite us to their ceremonies and degrees and their installations all the time, and we invite them as much as we can. Obviously, sometimes there is a little bit of a language barrier, but you know, we see past that, and that's beautiful. And we were able to incorporate their participation into the parade because they walked along with us as well. So we had members, we had Mexican Masons, Texas Masons. It was a beautiful, beautiful weekend for Masonry. It was, and I was so glad to be able to host that. Again, it was one of those weekends where, you know, I barely got any sleep, but totally worth it. We capped off the weekend with, well, Al-Zafar Shrine, you know, they make the trek down here. And so I said, I was, as president of the Shrine Club, Laredo Shrine Club this year, I said, okay, well, let's put together a party, fundraiser for the transportation fund. It's kind of one of those things where you have to convince everybody to stay another night, because the parade is on Saturday, ends usually at around noon or 1, and then everybody goes home. But we wanted people to stay one more night, and let's throw another party and raise some money for the kids. My wife always gives me, you know, she makes fun of me because she's like, Shrindom was the best thing to happen to you because it's all about helping kids and it's all about having fun. And I'm like, you know what? You're right. You know,
it keeps you honest, right?
Yeah. So we had that evening that you were there, and everybody seemed to have a good time. We're looking forward to making an even bigger one next year. So hopefully you'll stick around for that too.
Yeah. Before we get too far, because I want to double back and talk about quite a few things. Do you know the date for next year already?
It is usually the 3rd weekend in February.
Yeah, that's right. Third weekend in February.
Yeah. I'll double check on that for you, but it usually takes place there. It's only been canceled like once or twice. Once because of COVID, and then I think at some time in the 1950s it was also canceled. But the Washington birthday celebration has been going on for over 100 years, since the late 1800s.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I remember you talking about it being around for a minute, for sure. So, the first thing that pops out when you talk about this being such a big deal, and there's so much that went into it, that a lodge should have that once a year event like that. And I love how it's local culture, but you can build a whole team around that, and nothing will coagulate a lodge like having a good event like that. So right. I think you guys are really lucky and very smart for capitalizing on it, because I mean, when you said parade, you come to mind, you think somewhere, small town parade. I've been to a lot of them. They're not that big, but this is like somewhere in between Macy's Day Parade and a small town parade. It's massive. I was shocked. It
is, and it's when you especially when you walk it, you're like, man, when is this going to end? Because it's not like a 10-block thing. It's it curves at one point when you get to downtown Laredo, and it keeps on going. And the crowd is, I mean, you saw the crowd. It's a festive crowd, and everybody's friendly, and everybody's they're coaxing you to dance. And
dude, it's electrifying is what I was going to say. Because I don't know how to explain how that transfer of energy from the crowd to the participants happen. But Newberry and Klingon are the perfect. They were like visualizations of that energy coming from the crowd. Because I was behind, I think his name, I know his first name's Raul. I think his last name's Sanchez. He was a brother from Mexico, and boy, those ladies would get him dancing.
They loved him. They loved it. He was the best. He was breaking some hearts there,
dude. He was. It was the best. But it was
so good.
It was truly a memorable event. To where that even if you weren't in the parade, just the whole experience of that thing was quite a thing.
Yeah, I was lucky enough that my nephew was an escort for one of the debutantes for the Society of Martha Washington, which is a thing. And so my sister and my wife and my son and they all kind of camped out at some point during the parade. So I was when we walked by, I was able to see them, and I just kind of moseyed on over to take a picture with them. And but that was pretty cool to see my wife being supportive and taking my son. My son, he was 2 at the time, so he didn't know, he had no idea what was going on. He was just like, "Oh, there's Dad." I don't know what he's doing on the street. This is random, but I know this guy. He sleeps at my house. And so that was fun. And at a half point during the parade, there's all the news outlets are there.
Yep. And
they kind of just like describe all of the participants. So this and such school, this and such like mariachi band, and this is such and such business. And then when we showed up, because there's a whole like competition. They judge the floats, they judge all the participants in the parade. So they get the ribbons and everything. It's a huge ordeal. And so when we were walking right in front of them, I remember one of the news anchors here said, "Oh, and now is coming up is the Grand Lodge of Texas. And for those of you who didn't know, George Washington was a Mason too." And so she said that out loud. So it came out on TV, and
that's awesome.
And she says it quite loudly because there's a megaphone and it's a huge speaker. So everybody in the area gets to hear that too. So they see a side of Masonry that they might not have known.
Oh yeah.
That George Washington was a Mason. And I don't know if you heard this, but while we were walking down, and you got some people saying, "Oh, I'm gonna go visit you guys. Oh, I want to become one too." Did you hear that? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We got that. So there was like some renewed interest in Freemasonry, at least in the local area, and so we're excited to keep on doing that because why not? It's
oh my god,
it's dude, all you need is a suit and $40.
Well, it to me, that's masonry in action today. You know what I mean? Because if you look through all history of Freemasonry, they were doing something in society to capitalize, and to perpetuate the reputation that we have. And that's what it is today. It may seem something simple being in a parade, but like you said, it's not just $40 in a suit. There's more to it. There's a lot of work that goes into all that, but a lodge needs those kind of projects. Don't overdo it. That's why I like the once a year,
of course. Yeah.
And make sure that event is fun for you. You're not just cooking burgers all day or something that's, a whipping, but that it's fun, because everybody had a blast, man. There's no doubt about that.
I completely agree. I saw everybody having fun. And, one of the things that I like the most, not just the fact that the Grand Lodge, our most worshipful Grand Master Brad was there. It's not just that. It's not just that all the friends that I've made in Freemasonry all over the state, not that they were here. The fact that we were able to join them with the Mexican brothers. And again, they seem to have a really good time with each other. And to me, that kind of what Masonry is about is just like expanding that circle, shaking those hands with people from, across the country, or across the river, I should say.
Well, it was across, it was both. It was across the United States.
We got those brothers from DC area, it was the busiest weekend Freemasonry has had in Laredo. Laredo Masonry has had. So, I hope to keep the momentum going. A lot of people are excited about it. When we invited the Nuevo Laredo boys, they were like, really? Can we go? And we're like, yeah, of course, dude. That's awesome. We're all brothers. And I loved that. A lot of them stayed for that party on Saturday night too. They helped us raise a lot of money for the kids. So, I really hope to do it again next year, and, bigger every year. Why not?
Absolutely.
And like you said, capitalize on that. I mean, it's for the taking. I mean, signing up for it is easy. We'll probably not get the gavel and the trowel here every year, but but we can get creative with other things too, and remind the public that we're here. That we're not the sinister organization that a lot of people think we are.
Well, you said it. The little thing like George Washington was a Mason. Those little things add up year after year. It's not going to be huge if you just do it 1 year. We've been at this for a long time. You know what I mean? It's time, patience, and perseverance, right?
That's right. And we're looking forward to doing it again next year. I want to invite the entire Texas Freemason community to come down and check out Laredo during that weekend. It's a lot of fun. You get to meet a lot of fun brothers. Believe me, it's not a weekend that you want to miss, because even though it is Masonic in nature, consider it like a small vacation of sorts.
It was absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you got to put a suit on for a little bit, but man, I took naps. I mean, everything vacation wise was there.
Well, another one of the things that we did is, and I gotta give a shout out to Miguel Inclán, who it was kind of his idea of putting. There's a statue outside of City Hall of George Washington, and he had this idea. God, I'd say about 10 years ago, to put an apron, a Masonic apron on the statue. And the statue's huge. The apron, my wife designed it, and she hand painted it and everything. It was a replica of George Washington's apron. It's 4 square feet. So it's a pretty big apron. It's awesome. It's not Texas regulation apron, I'll tell you that.
No, I think I posted it on our 148 Facebook page. That's right. February. Yeah. So you could see pictures of it. So it was fantastic.
So we asked City Hall for permission. Hey, there's going to be a bunch of us around the statue. I know it's public property, but we don't want any issues. We don't want. They're going to be like, why are these people like climbing on the pedestal? And but they were like fine with it. And we had some people from City Hall like during the ceremony, just kind of step outside and just kind of take a look at the ceremony. So we placed the apron on the statue. It was open to the public, of course. It didn't, we had quite a crowd of Masons and their loved ones and friends and family and everything. And you were there. You gave the closing prayer.
Yep.
And the Grand Master gave his remarks. The DC contingency, they gave their remarks as well, because we displayed the gavel and the trowel there as well. And yeah, it was something that Laredo had never done. And it got to the point where like it was so successful that we said, hey, maybe every year we should kind of have like a contest, and whoever designs the best apron, they'll be the ones that can, and we even said, let's make this a statewide thing. Whoever creates the nicest apron, 2x2 or 4 square feet, they'll get the honor of putting the apron on the first president.
That's a great way to create buzz. You guys are genius. That's so fun.
I gotta say, awesome. I gotta say that idea was kind of hijacked from somebody else, but
whatever. Yeah, good idea. It's a good idea.
Hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah, because that you mentioned I've done the closing prayer, and that was on it. Brad called me up. It's like he just saw me and pointed and pulled me up, and what a privilege that was. But a brother from Mexico was there, and at the party that night, he gave me a bottle of Gentleman Jack and thanked me for that prayer. It was
really
such a. I still have it. I haven't cracked it. It's because I don't know that I ever will, because it was such a meaningful, because you could tell English was not his first language at all. He had figured out what he wanted to say, and he thanked me for the prayer, and then it meant a lot to him and everything like that. And it was just so moving for me. But that party, it was a special, I want to touch on that before we get off real quick, sure. Because, that night you walk in and the table settings, it was so awesome because it was set for Laredo. It had kind of the cultural setup. It had, if I'm not mistaken, it had a, and now it escapes me, the hat. Good Lord.
The sombrero.
There we go. Thank you. Good Lord. My whiteness is coming out now. But it was packed with all kinds of goodies. But there was a bottle of tequila on every table. That
was my idea. That was my idea.
I looked at the dawn of the party cartel, of course.
Yeah.
I looked at my wife and I said, things are going to get crazy tonight. And they did. I mean, sure enough, about the time things, it was fun all night. But about the time things, where most people are like, all right, it's time to go. They look for an excuse to leave. That mariachi band came in. Oh man, that stuff was, it was almost a religious moment. You know what I mean? It was greatness.
Yeah, mariachi, Los Alazanes, big shout out to them. My friend Gabriel there, he plays the guitarrón. He's one of the singers. They always put a fantastic show on for everybody. Awesome. So and I love the energy that kind of builds up when they're walking in.
Yeah.
And you see the faces of a lot of people going like, okay, this is gonna like, I thought the night was over, but it wasn't.
I mean, because we say mariachi band, you think 3 or 4 people, you know what I mean? Yeah. I don't know the total, but I think there was like 13 or 14.
Yeah, I believe it was like about a dozen. Yeah.
It was a lot of folks, man. And they were good at their craft. And lo and behold, I don't know how it happened, but a brother from Mexico who was a Shriner as well, he got up and sang a song.
Oh, yeah.
He was like, hey, do you know this song? And they were like, oh, yeah, we know that song. And he it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful moment. I mean, because his voice was unreal.
Yeah. And I was so happy for him to do that because, especially right after, during COVID, they stopped all non-essential travel to the United States. So, they lifted the restrictions, last year or like late last year or something. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of those folks can come travel now. And, so I'm sure they were excited to just, just be on this side once again.
Yeah.
For the first time in a long time, and meeting brothers from all over the state. And, it was just like a win-win-win situation all the time. And so I'm glad he was able to participate in that as well. So you guys can kind of take a look at his talent.
Oh my gosh, what a privilege that was.
I love it when they step up and they share what they have with others. That was really, really cool.
Oh no! I told my wife, I was like, that mariachi band was worth the price of admission alone. That was just such a cool moment,
And I'm glad you enjoyed the tequila as well, because
we might have ended up enjoying a few tables. Like it was like, oh, who's not drinking this? Let's go sit at their table for a minute. It was more fun. I mean, it was a great way to cap the night, because I mean, after the parade, everybody's kind of tired, but we went back home, took naps, rebooted, showered up, and it was on after that. That was fantastic Saturday night.
It was a fun party. But yeah, the current worshipful master now, Jose Rios, he and we went to it's like the food tasting, or like when you throw a wedding and you have to go like
I don't know the technical term, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, what's it called? The reception hall was like, okay, these are the options for you. So we had to go, and I'm like, kind of feel like you and I are getting married, or we're we're tasting the food that we're gonna serve at our wedding. He's like, shut up, just taste it. Just choose whatever you want. Let's get out of here.
No, fantastic.
Yeah, but yeah, we went through that. I mean, the entire weekend took place. It was Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So Thursday we welcomed the DC contingency and held the gavel and the trowel at the lodge, and it was open to the public. And then on Friday we had the statue ceremony, and then the hospitality suite with Al-Zafar at their hotel. Saturday morning was a parade, and then Saturday night was the gala to raise money for the kids, the one we're talking about, and then everybody went home on Sunday. So it was 3 days of Masonry, and it was packed with a lot of activities. But it did take, I will say, about like 5 to 6 months of planning.
Yeah.
So I mean, in a couple of months, we're gonna have to start planning it again.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because planning since from flights to security to hotel rooms to dealing with the parade people, just the party on Saturday, it was quite a bit. But big shout out to all the brothers who made it happen, from Grand Lodge, to everybody who came down here. We really appreciate it, because you said a while ago, Laredo is a little isolated from the rest of the state, and we are. At one point, our district only had 2 lodges, Laredo and Zapata. And now Zapata Lodge is now going to meet in Laredo Lodge. So
essentially one lodge, yeah. Exactly,
yeah. And so we are a little isolated, but we do get very excited when we get brothers from other cities, other lodges to come visit, because it's rare, it's few and far between whenever we get those opportunities. So we want to bank on the Washington birthday celebration to provide a little bit of fun for Masonry, not just in Texas or Mexico, but everywhere, really, for anybody that wants to come down.
Yeah. No, and I can see that if y'all keep it up, I can see that thing growing into something pretty big, for sure.
We hope so. And I hope all the upcoming brothers, the younger guys, they get excited about it too. Because there's another side of Freemasonry that we need to sell now.
Yeah.
It's what kind of organization are we? We don't, we always say we're a society with secrets. I get it, but there's so much more to that. And you give the public that opportunity to see who we really are and what we can be and what we have been, and it's up to us to, we're not just gonna give any Tom, Dick, and Harry a petition, right?
Yeah.
But remind people that we're there.
No, that's it. If we get out there with meaningful activities, and they see real energy, that's contagious. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Completely agree.
Yeah.
So, and that's why we need people like you, Rhit, dancing dancing in parades.
Yeah, it was such a good time.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Yep. Well, you got anything else you want to add before we close this thing up?
No, I just want to thank you again for inviting me to be a part of your podcast. I love Fort Worth 148, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next weekend.
Yes. Hey, are you coming up for Masonicon on August 20th?
I should be there. Yeah. I know it begins at 8 a.m. My flight would go in at 7:30, so I'd be probably a couple of minutes late. But
yeah, that's registration anyways. So first speaker starts at 9, which is
you guys have a fantastic lineup in terms of speakers. That alone is worth the trip right there.
Yep. It's gonna be great.
It's like a who's who of like some of the smartest and well-read people in Freemasonry. So it's something that you don't want to miss. No, I'll see you there, man.
Sounds like a plan, Stan. This Rhit
my
Moore
wife, my wife might divorce me, but I'll be there.
Don't get yourself in trouble, son.
I know, man. Thanks again, Rhit, for everything that you do and for inviting me. And it's always a pleasure talking to you. It's always a lot of fun. And I love discussing these topics with you and sharing them with everybody. So thank you.
Ditto, brother, for sure. All righty, brother. This is Rhit Moore signing off.
This is Ruben Bazan, Senior Warden from Laredo 547, signing off. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day.